very much, Mr. Praporski, for being here. It is a pleasure to have the opportunity to interview you and to share your experience with our students. Would you mind telling us a little bit about yourself?
I was exposed to travel industry, to tourism, to airplanes through my mother, who was a flight attendant back home for 20 plus, almost 30 years. I've been to probably 30, 40 countries by the time I was 15 years old, and just growing up and being exposed to that much travel and spending so much time on the planes and in hotels ultimately. What I did was, after I finished my bachelor's degree, my original goal was to go into investment banking, and I did about a year internship with at the time Salomon Smith Barney. I worked with a private equity fund manager who had a very affluent client base, and I worked for him directly in Los Angeles for about a year. But I realized soon enough in that period that while I was good with numbers, the personal touch is really what I missed, I'm just a people person, and so a lot of number crunching behind a computer and not a face-to-face communication or contact was really not my passion. I determined that tourism is something I really wanted to do, and hospitality.
We always tell our students the importance of starting from the bottom and learning the basis of the hospitality industry before being able to grow professionally. What is your experience with this?
By the time I finished my degree, I was a front desk manager at MGM Grand. Before that, I was actually part of the pre-opening team for those of us looking or watching us or listening. I started as a front desk agent at the hotel at Mandalay Bay, which is now called the Delano Hotel, still in Las Vegas. Amazing experience because I did a full year on the overnight shift, and I think a city like Las Vegas doing a full year of overnight was amazing and fun at the same time. But just in terms of operational experience, it was, as I recall, about 1,100 rooms, and we called it a boutique hotel. Even at the entry-level position, having the opening experience, I was part of the pre-opening team, setting up inventory, loading front desk, etc., going through the training with the rest of the team was really a great experience that set me up for later, especially even my current role here at Fairmont Austin, which I'll get to in just a second.
What would you say were the key steps that allowed you to arrive to the position that you currently occupy?
So, like I said, I was in New York City at the Grand Hyatt, New York, for a few years as front office manager, and then I moved to another Hyatt property in Long Island, which is in the state of New York, just outside of the city, as director of rooms. And that was really my one big jump or push in my career, and the learning curve, as you can imagine, coming from front office manager role to director of rooms was a big one, because I did not directly work with housekeeping or guest services, and normally that is the path, sometimes even assistant director of rooms. So first 6 months was interesting. I mean, I was just kind of like a sponge, trying to absorb every single terminology, reporting that we had to do, part of my role at the time, understanding what's requested of me. So huge learning curve in the first 6 months, but my mentality was learn as much as you can and just push forward, kind of roll with the punches almost. And so it was about 2 years in that role, and I learned a lot. And I was fortunate to join an amazing property in Southern California, kind of going back to my U.S. home, as I call it, in San Diego, property called the Grand Del Mar, which I came in as executive director of rooms, and I spent 5 years at the Grand Del Mar. The property had just opened about a year and a half or so prior to me joining the team, so it was practically brand new, still ramping up operationally, and we had some amazing successes there. At a time, we were one of the only 2 hotels worldwide to have triple Forbes Travel Guide, triple 5-star appointment for the hotel, spa, and the restaurants. And so I spent about 5 years there, and I wanted a new challenge. After time spent there, I connected with my old colleague from MGM Grand from back in the day, who just recently joined Wynn, but in Macau in Southeast Asia. And I decided to move to Asia with my family, 2 kids at a time. We grew the family since then. We have 1 Texan So 3 kids now. Our youngest son was born here in Austin. But at the time, young 2 children, my wife and I, we moved to Asia, and it was an amazing experience for about a year and a half or so in pre-opening also at Wynn Palace. After some time in Asia, I decided to return back to the United States, which is now brings us to my current assignment here at Fairmont Austin. Back in 2016, in May of 2016, I joined the project also in the pre-opening stage. And it ended up being a little bit longer of a pre-opening period than expected due to opening delays, which is not uncommon, sadly, in our industry. But I joined the team as a hotel manager at a time, and we opened in March of 2018, so coming up on 3 full years of operation, just about in a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
And just 2 years ago, I was promoted to general manager when the position became available. So I currently manage the largest core branded hotel in continental United States, and only the second largest only to Fairmont Royal York in Toronto in Canada, in all of our North Central America region.